Broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studio, it's time for the GNFCC 400 Insider. Connect, build, and grow with the Greater North Fulton Chamber of Commerce.
Hello and welcome to the GNFCC 400 Insider, the monthly radio show and podcast presented by the Greater North Fulton Chamber. I'm Callie Boatwright, President and CEO of the Chamber, and today I am thrilled to extend a warm welcome as we celebrate Small Business Month. Today, we're joined by two incredible woman entrepreneurs making waves right here in North Fulton. It's inspiring to see the incredible impact that women-owned businesses have on our community. And today, I am excited to introduce Heather Demis, owner of Anchor Marketing. Heather, welcome.
Hello.
And also my guest is Tracey Grace, who is the CEO of Ibex, an IT service company. Hey, Tracey.
Hey there. How are you?
Good. Thank you. I am so excited to have you both on the show. Now, I want everybody out there to know these women also are not just amazing women entrepreneurs, but really good people. And I consider both of them friends. So I've been looking forward to today's show so that we could just have a conversation about the great things that they're doing at both of their companies. So today we're going to explore some different topics that all entrepreneurs have to do, right? So you wear every hat: effective business management, overcoming challenges, staying competitive with industry trends, and certainly how wonderful it is to do business up in North Fulton. So what I want to do is just start with a general question to both of you. And Tracey, I'm going to ask you to start. As the owner of your company, can you share with us what inspired you to start Ibex?
Sure, Callie. Thanks so much for having me today. Small business is so important to our community, so thanks again. It's an interesting story, but I was working at an international consulting firm, and I was a vice president. I was hired to help stand up their training organization, and it was just around the time of the 2011 downturn of the economy. And I was called into the office and they told me they were going to cut my salary in half and adjust my...
Whoa.
I know.
That'll wake you up.
Yes, it did. And change my commissions to make up for it. Needless to say, with the downturn of the economy, I had to think very quickly on my feet. How was I going to make up for this shortfall? So I went and I studied the markets, trying to look and see what industry is booming. It's not ours, right? The consulting and the training just wasn't working right then. So it was healthcare. And it was when all the hospitals were migrating from paper-based to electronic healthcare records. So I said, okay, I'll sign us up for a conference and see if I could get some folks to want to utilize our services. So we kept getting a lot of people at the booth, but the question was, do you guys do EHR conversions? And no, we're consulting best practices and training. And eventually, the more the questions came, I called and said, hey, do we have any consultants that do healthcare? And they said, yeah, we actually do have a couple. So I started saying, yeah, I think we can do that.
Smart.
I tell you, it turned out to be one of the best decisions of my life. I was able to build a vertical for that consulting firm that really grew so fast because of the need for the consultants. But it grew so fast that it alerted back in the home office because my little vertical started outperforming our base business. They called me in again, and this time it was to tell me that they're not quite sure how I developed this vertical, but that in the hospitals, if anything were to happen, it would be a black spot on my background, and they wanted me to get rid of my business unit. And I said, are you joking? And they said, no. And I said, what do you want me to do with it? They said, I don't care. Let your customers go with your suppliers. So it was really a turning point in my life. It was a launch point where I had to make a decision. It became very clear. If I didn't make a change right then and there and take that opportunity to start my business, I could never look back and say I never had the perfect opportunity. So it was really forced, and it really turned out to be the best decision of a lifetime.
So for you, it was you found a problem and identified it and then created a solution. And then all of a sudden we're presented with what we're going to call it an opportunity to be able to take it and run with it.
Yes.
And clearly it was a great choice. So today, Ibex does what? Obviously IT services, but you've got a rather wide array.
We do. So we are a technology and training services firm. We have a large variety of contracts that we execute on for the federal government, but we are also engaged on the commercial sector, mostly on the training side. And then we actually have a software system called Certifiably Diverse, in which we assist organizations with sustainable procurement efforts and infusing diverse suppliers into their supply chain.
I like that transition because as a woman-owned business, so if somebody wanted to order products and supplies, marketing items from a woman-owned business, which would be a diverse business, they could certainly go over to Anchor Marketing and do that. So Heather, this is my great transition to you.
A good transition.
I thought that worked. So tell me a little bit about your company and how Anchor Marketing came to be.
We are a marketing services firm. We are not an agency. We do promotional products and apparel now, as we did starting 2005. So
oh my goodness, that's almost 20 years.
Yeah. And back in 2005, I was working for a company that was based out of Chicago, and they were in North, like exit 12, McFarland area. And I'd been there for 5 years, and I was learning the business. It's a very tough business. The margin for error is off the chain. I'd come from printing, and so learning promotional products and apparel was just a lot of parts and pieces, a lot of things that can go wrong. So it took me that long to learn the business. And they decided that this big company from Chicago was going to take our little company of 20, 35, maybe 30 people down to the Kodak space at the King and Queen building at Concourse.
Oh, that's a long trip.
And I looked at my assistant, who was my very good friend at the time, and I said, I'm not driving down 400. And I said, what are we going to do? She says, you're going to start your business. And I said, I'm not starting my business. No, I can't. She says, yes, you can. I go, no, I can't. She says, yes, you can. She says, I'll do it. I'll help you. I'll do it. And so I said, I'm not a business person. I'm a salesperson. I make money and I spend it, but I don't manage it. I don't know how, I don't know any other part of it. She says, I'll do it. Because she was very detail oriented and just managed my life at the time and was just phenomenal. And so we packed up and we went home to my house, and the rest was and now we're in a warehouse space, and we do a lot of things have changed since being in my house, but it was a way for me to raise my daughter for 10 years and stay home. And it just kept growing and growing and growing. So
you're giving me like Jerry Maguire vibes of walking out with your assistant and being like, we're leaving.
You know what? We didn't tell anybody.
So you did. Yes.
Interestingly, I guess I can say it now. It's been almost 20 years, but when everyone's packing up boxes to move down to the space, we were packing up boxes, but we were not going. Then they didn't know we weren't going. It was
right.
The bus came to go take all their stuff, and we were like, we're out. So we did the best we could to move on.
You might owe them a couple bucks for cardboard boxes, but in that, I feel like you're okay. You're doing all right. That's awesome. And so for both of you, a lot of people think entrepreneurs are they born not made or made from situational things. Heather, for you, did you always want to be an entrepreneur or
no? Not at all.
That was a quick response.
No, I came, but I will say both sides of my family, I come from a long line of very hard workers, and from farming on one side all the way to hotel owner management. My grandfather was a huge entrepreneur. He had several hotels in the Maryland area. And my dad was in the military, and my stepmom's a doctor. And I mean, everybody's the most hardest working. My brother works terribly hard, my sister, everybody. So I don't know. I didn't ever really want to work this hard. Like, I just didn't really know any better.
You can't help yourself.
So I just never stopped. Started at 14 and never not had a job. So but I wasn't born to be my own business. I was told that it would be a no-brainer for me to do.
And do you think that now?
With help of really good people who are better and smarter and faster than me, absolutely.
There you go. The true test of an entrepreneur. Surround yourself with people better than you at doing these things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so how about you, Tracey? Did you always want to be an entrepreneur, or was this thrust upon you?
It was thrust upon me for sure. I thought I would die in corporate America with a pension somewhere, but that was not meant to be. My father actually was an entrepreneur. He had the largest carpet and flooring installation business in the tri-state area in New Jersey. And I saw how hard he worked and did his books at some point in my teenage years. And he tried to encourage me to take over that. And I said, heck no, there's no way.
So you'd already said no once.
Oh, no. Yeah, that just wasn't going to be it.
Yeah.
But don't you think timing, though, is
seasons for sure.
Everything.
It is definitely.
Sometimes one day, no, yes, next day, absolutely.
Yeah. It just happened to be the right opportunity, the right time. But entrepreneurship definitely leads to a lot of opportunity, not only for us, I think, as business owners, but our families and then community to see how you can do it. So it's an exciting thing.
And you both are great testimonies of that community involvement and engagement. I know both of you serve on multiple organizations and boards, and it's not just about the company, it's about building the community where you are. Maybe share a couple of things that you're actively engaged with, Tracey, organizations and where you love to volunteer and give your company's time.
Sure. It's really changed over time. Initially, I think it was a lot with small businesses, just giving back to other small businesses, mentoring, helping them to understand how to do work. And then I realized I could have a greater voice with the launch of Certifiably Diverse. It's not just women-owned small businesses that need help, but small businesses in general. So I really believe I've become an advocate for all small business to be infused into the entire enterprise of organizations, because it's with small business that you really get innovation. And that's where you can really make a difference. Most larger companies, it takes a long time for them to shift, like a ship turning. And small business innovation to me is the lifeblood. So I think that is one of the major ways. And then I also serve on North Fulton Community Charities Board. And then I'm working with the city of Brunswick to try and infuse and bring information technology to the area as they continue to progress as a city too.
Very good. And of course, happy to say that you serve on my board, but also won our Small Business of the Year 3 years ago. So that's always a nice tie-in as well. Heather, what about you? You're involved in almost everything. I see you all the time.
I've been around a while. I feel like I've been feeding these streets, but I've been involved with the chambers for many years. I was a graduate of Leadership North Fulton 2000, which I'm so proud of, because looking back at, we said 2005 starting our business, like I think a lot of those friends and confidants and people in this community they were some of the ones that were there saying, you got this, girl, I'll buy from you. It's the person, not the place. The chambers for sure, and my Rotary Club, 100%. Rotary is in my blood. I started very early. I was the assistant to the president at the time of the Roswell Rotary Club, and that was talk about getting entrenched in what Rotary is. I ended up chartering the Rotaract of North Fulton. I chartered the North Fulton Rotary Club in 2010, and then in 2000, whatever that was. Anyway, in 2010, I moved over to Alpharetta Rotary, and I've served on that board on and off over the years, and just been really using those times. And I felt particularly forgiving and community serving and sponsorships and those sort of things. If you give to a Rotary, it's almost like United Way. You give to so many different levels. And I served on Senior Services North Fulton Board years ago. And then there's the kids. If I give my dollar there, it's going to go to either where I ask it to go, or it's going to get in a pool where it's going to be doing good in the community where I live and work. So I can't go wrong. So that's where I've focused. Our business has been
built through that.
Absolutely.
Well, I think Rotary International is such a great organization anyway, and does so much good globally, honestly, and certainly here in North Fulton too. All right, back to business. I just happen to know how engaged you all are in the community. Heather, I'm going to ask you, obviously your company in that marketing area, both with the items, but also your apparel, but also image consulting, discussing, helping companies market and brand themselves. There are a lot of folks in that space, right? That's in North Fulton, certainly. My question to you is, how do you manage to distinguish your company among the marketing industry here in North Fulton?
That's a good question. And I thought I saw it and I thought there are a lot, but I don't notice them. I don't see them. They don't affect me. If they do, it wasn't meant to be. I'm just the eternal extreme optimist. So if I don't get a deal, it just wasn't meant to be thing. I feel I'm in a little bit of a boutique niche area. There's the big boys that handle the Deltas and the Cokes and all that. I don't want that. Don't have any desire to do it. And then there's ones that really just want to push pens, and they're taking orders like maybe going into 4imprint online and just filling orders. And I think the difference with us is that we really think about the event or the need, and we really care about the quality and the look and the feel, and we want to make sure that their image matches the level of service that they're providing. And we act as an extension of their staff. We literally have the deadline, we have the budget, we have the care factor that they do for the project. And this is ongoing with, you can imagine, 36, maybe 50 different projects at a time. But I've got a great team and we're all fitting it in. But
It's that personal touch and that dedication to that image and brand of the company and getting what they want.
Yes.
To be able to provide.
I think if you do a good job, people find you. And I've been, again, beating these streets for so long that I have plenty of friends that keep referring. And if you, like I said, if you do a good job, they're going to find you.
Right.
And so I haven't really noticed the competition, if you really want. I just haven't noticed.
And as a relationship builder, I think you have that return too, return clients, if you will, which makes
a lot
a
of
huge
pressure
difference.
to know and really care.
Then scratch that I said that ever. Don't, you just stay.
I really don't want to know.
Keep
honestly.
doing what you're doing for sure.
I don't want to know.
And we just placed an order last week. I wish I had met you then.
Oh, here we go.
There's always tomorrow.
That's right. The eternal optimist. See what's happening.
Yes.
Right here, folks. You see it right here live. Tracey, of course, you conversely, you're in a IT business, which traditionally more male dominated. I think most people would certainly agree. How are you establishing yourself in that field, especially as somebody who came out of that sales, right, a different background? So tell me how that's gone.
Yeah, it's interesting. I use partners as my superpower. So I definitely know that I am not the smartest person in the room. And so I surround myself with very intelligent people who know how to run other businesses. Partnerships come in different shapes and sizes. And so one of the ways that I've been able to be successful in surrounding myself is by joining organizations and applying for different programs like the EY-EAN program and the EY
You'll have to tell me what
So Ernst & Young has a couple of different programs where they work with entrepreneurs and help you develop your organization and then also spotlight you to draw attention. And so with the Winning Women, it's all women entrepreneurs who are doing great things in business and have only been in business typically about 10 years or less. And so initially I was awarded the EY Winning Women Award. And then following that, there's an EY-EAN program, the Entrepreneurial Access Network, and it's for Black and Latino founder organizations. And the program really helps to provide training, information on investment for companies that may need a little extra help understanding how to grow their business. So those types of organizations have been pivotal. I'm also a member of the Women's Presidents Organization and the International Women's Forum, which has been phenomenal. So all of those groups, especially being women focused, I think has helped me tremendously in building out my network and the experiential learning. So not just classroom based, but really surrounding myself and forming really strong networks of women that I can call when I have challenges or problems and just need some feedback.
And I think that's interesting is parlaying a male dominated field into this access of, or this women sort of partnership and working together. And not to say, and I know that's not what you're saying, but certainly I know that you have men as allies as well.
Definitely.
But it's really focusing on using that as your superpower, how you lift everybody up together. And I think that's really neat. And I think that as you go through this, again, having that entrepreneur stomach, if you will, to be able to meet those challenges, can you guys think maybe of a time as a business owner that you had to overcome a significant challenge? And like, how does that feel as an entrepreneur? Because it does come down on you, right? When you open a business and you have team members who are counting on you, I can imagine it keeps you up at night, maybe?
Definitely. Yeah.
Do you have
I was just going to mention COVID because it's...
Oh, great.
Well, you can't deny
right
that.
Right? Yeah, it's right there. Everyone had to go home and work. And so the face of post-COVID looks very different than pre-COVID. None of my employees wanted to come back to the office.
Interesting.
So we are largely it's changed the way we can recruit, though, because we have a lot of employees in Texas. They're all over the country.
That's
and
right.
We've learned how to work effectively, not in the office. I'll be happy when that office lease expires, Callie.
Yeah, I know. That's the hard part, right? And folks have found out that it's okay to morph to a different way of working, especially in the IT industry, right? I'm not
Yes.
sure the chamber is not going to be remote, but certainly in your industry, it really opened up workforce for you. That's a great point.
It did. As a small business, it takes a little bit to compete for people. And so we're just under 100 employees. And with our home office staff, it's really important that we have solid operations, solid sales staff. And so it opening up the pool because of COVID and the way people are now looking at different opportunities because they want to work remotely, it's made us even more competitive. So the benefits are like the baseline now. That's not the differentiator for the most part. It's the flexibility, the work-life balance, the additional benefits that you can add, the intangibles that matter.
And as a woman, I completely appreciate that and think that with Heather, you even mentioned being able to raise your daughter and having the flexibility of having your own company to allow you to do that. I think how about you?
So I think going back to COVID, I think during that time we had been toying around with online stores, online company stores. We just never were equipped to do it. It was a whole new world that we just weren't doing. We're just doing drop ship only. And with COVID, at first, everything stopped as everyone. And then all of a sudden, we were getting mountains of orders for hand sanitizer and face mask. And I'd never got more creative with designing a face mask in my entire life. But that's what kept us going financially, the money or orders coming in. But the best thing that came from it and the biggest transition in the company was getting that software, learning how to build those stores, and starting small and talking to the people that had always mentioned, do you do a store? Remembering who they were and saying, guess what? We're going to do this now. Are you still interested? And then you start small, and then all of a sudden you build. And now we have probably since COVID, 40 stores, maybe 40 online
where
stores.
folks can go in and order them.
And the reason was the sales staff, as they had the budget, they weren't spending it because they weren't traveling.
That's
all the
right.
conferences but they were home, and the corporations still wanted to thank everyone. They wanted to give them gift cards, and they still were doing Zooming, and they needed something on their left chest to show on camera. So the branding image market did not stop, and then the employee hiring and retention and all of those gifts and welcome boxes and that fulfillment, kit packing online, that just changed our entire business. It just catapulted.
That's amazing.
So that's where the biggest growth has come for us in the last, was it now 3 years?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm always happy when I can talk about any of the good things that came from COVID. I think that's right.
Agree.
I think that's a wonderful thing, but I hadn't even thought about that, but you're 100% right. Being able to, the word I hate the most probably is pivot, but in this particular instance, it's perfect for what you're both talking about. So you all have already shared your businesses have grown and obviously become quite successful. They are morphing as we speak and certainly have. Are you willing to give us a sneak peek of any future thoughts or future plans about your company's growth or even changes or additions? Oh, everybody's looking at each other. I don't know. It's a safe space.
I'm excited to say that Ibex has gone global.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's a huge announcement.
Yes. We're super excited. Launching Certifiably Diverse has really taken us into directions that I'll say unintended. We do a little work outside of the country with our federal government contracting, but this is a lot more intentional. So with some of our certifiably diverse customers, they are Fortune 500, they're global, and their presence in the international markets is even greater than the US. And so now we are needing to recruit businesses in places like Australia, India, UK, Canada, so that our customers have access to the suppliers that they need in their supply chain. So no longer is it just thinking about diversity from a US perspective, but it's thinking about what diversity means in foreign countries. And that's something that's completely different depending on where you go. Mm-hmm. So that's really going to stretch us. And I think as an organization, it will help us to look into the future and understand and look and see what that looks like. And that will help our growth trajectory as we continue to build out what we'll look like in 8 years from now.
I love that. So instead of having employees that you can celebrate in Texas, not that there's anything wrong with Texas, you'll now have employees potentially in Thailand or Tasmania or any of the other T's I can think of.
Yes.
That would be amazing. What a significant change from a business perspective, though.
Yes, we're excited about it because Certifiably Diverse has also allowed us to get more exposure with our training and our IT services because we lead with excellence in that platform. So it's becoming circular. And so that will, I think, help with our overall corporate expansion.
That's really neat when you realize what you've done is the same thing you did at the other company, which is you created a new business line that now is taking over. That is really awesome. Obviously, the entrepreneur strength is strong in you. Heather, what about you? What have you got?
Tracey and I are literally on a rainbow.
Tracy's going global. Heather's, I am just really glad.
Globally, Tracey. We ship anywhere across the whole world. I'll think about the furthest we've ever shipped, but it's in Europe somewhere, Canada.
We want it to be even further now.
We did just hire another person, which is exciting because I never dreamed we would be more than 2. Now we'll be 6. We are 6. We just hired. And this girl is woman. She's fabulous. She's got design experience. She comes from retail, big corporate retail, and she's going to really manage and take over the website designs and add that extra design factor the creative that we just hobble. We just try as best we can to get. I have a lot of a creative brain, but I don't have a lot of time to learn it and concentrate on that when I'm trying to sell and all that. So she's going to bring that, and then it's just going to give us all a little bit more time to do better, and we'll see where it goes. But it's great.
And I think focusing too on, obviously you're in Alpharetta market, but even beyond that, North Fulton and that regional perspective. But what I love about you is what you just said, which is you're the owner and you have these great ideas, but it's hiring people you've both mentioned and surround yourself with people who have expertise and not being afraid of that. Or, hey, this person's far, and I try to do the same. This person is far smarter and more able to do this than I am. And thank God for them.
We just said in a meeting today, because she's starting in a couple of weeks, and I said, all right, I want her to shadow all of us for at least a half a day so she knows what all of our roles are, and I can't wait to hear how she wants to change and grow and see what we're doing wrong, because it's just an opportunity for us to see from an outsider, wait a minute, I can do that for you in this way, and I'm just so excited. So we just literally said that this morning.
That's awesome. It brings energy to the team too when you bring somebody new like that. Yeah. So I love that too. All right, so we, believe it or not, see how fast time flies. I have a final question for both of you. Obviously, you both have developed your business very successful in your own right and have helped other people along in that respect as well. So what strategic advice would you have to give someone else starting a new business as an entrepreneur in North Fulton today? What would you tell somebody who said, I want to start something new? What would you do? Heather, how about you?
If you were not sitting here, I would still say join the chamber. 100%. That's the first thing I would say to do. And get involved, get on a board with something that you are passionate about. Just start spreading the word and telling people what you, and like you said, which I love and I need to do more of it, is just partnering with people that either have like minds with you or that are concentrating on the same people that you're looking to do. And then you can tag team and grow together and help each other. And then it's just a win for everyone. But you have to acknowledge first, you can't do it on your own. And then you have to somehow just get out there and spread the word. So join the chamber. I swear, I would say that if you were not sitting here, I would say that.
Heather, I love hearing that from you. I think that's wonderful. And that they're going to need some nice shirts and clothing with their logo on it. That would probably be the other thing you tell them.
Branding is key.
Branding is definitely key. 100%. Yes, exactly. All right, Tracey, I'm coming to you to start my own business of whatever type as an entrepreneur. What would you tell me about this market?
I would say there are so many free resources out there. When I first started Ibex, we didn't have a lot of money, so we needed to use freemium for everything. So even CRM systems you can find free before you bring on more employees, a free version. Go to the SBA. I would go to the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center. To the MBDA, I would go to all of the public resources to learn how to do business smarter, avoid some of the pitfalls. I'm a big advocate of learning from others so I don't have to do it again. I don't like to bump my head. So and I'm a lifelong learner. So I will go through any small business development program there is, and I did along the way, and I continue to do so even today. And sometimes the information may be redundant, but at different stages of your business, you learn different things. So
that's right.
It comes into play. And then the final thing, I would say join the chamber.
Yay.
Callie knows I've been a member of the chamber before I even really knew how to do business. And so just sitting there, understanding how to press palms, meet people, and use the resources. And once again, you have resources that are different for small businesses at different stages in their careers. So I think that's so important. And I've really benefited greatly from my relationship with the chamber.
I am glad to hear that. And we believe in partnerships too, which is why the SBA, SBDC all meet in our office and we'll sit down and talk to you as well as our folks in the training that we offer. All right. I have got to close up, which I really don't want to. I feel like we should have wine and spend another hour. But if our listeners needed to reach out to you to learn more about your company, can you just quickly give them a website or a way to reach you? Heather, how about you?
Mine's easy. Heather at anchormarketing.com.
That is easy. So Heather, you are at anchormarketing.com. I'll bet you they can get on a website that's anchormarketing.com. There you go.
And my website is ibexexperts.com and then certifiablydiverse.com. And on LinkedIn,
the Tracey Grace. And you can find both of these women through the Greater North Fulton Chamber. I am so happy to thank my guests, Heather and Tracey, for joining me today, sharing their insights on nurturing and maintaining a successful business and the importance of partnerships and how we can be successful together. Ladies, your experience and advice are invaluable to the audience. We also thank, of course, our audience. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in to GNFCC 400 Insider, presented by the Greater North Fulton Chamber. To listen to this show again or to catch any of our previous episodes, you can always visit gnfcc400insider.com or your favorite podcast platforms. For more information about our programs, events, partnerships, and development opportunities, you can always visit gnfcc.com. And until next time, I'm Callie Boatwright, and this has been the GNFCC 400 Insider on Business Radio X.